Assembled guests, it is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Oliver Hunt. Oliver is the founder and CEO of MedSalve, a single-use medical device remanufacturing company based in Christchurch. MedSalve serves over 80% of New Zealand's hospitals with the goal of making our health system more environmentally, socially and financially sustainable. Oliver set up MedSalve in 2017, and since then the company has been recognised nationally for its focus on social employment and as a leading high-tech company. Before starting MedSalve, Oliver completed a Bachelor of Engineering with honours in Mechanical Engineering and a Master of Engineering Management at the University of Canterbury. Assembled guests, please join me in welcoming Oliver to the lectern.
Kia ora. May I begin by acknowledging Pro-Chancellor Shane Tiaka, Vice-Chancellor Professor Cheryl De La Rey, members of the University Council, Registrar, academic staff and graduates, families, supporters, and most importantly, you, the graduating class of 2023. It is an absolute honour to be here with you today at your graduation ceremony. Congratulations on making it through engineering school. You should all be proud of yourselves for reaching this considerable milestone. Well done. My name is Oliver Hunt, and it's been 5 years since I was sitting where you are now, reminiscing on those joyful 8 a.m. lectures which I definitely attended, particularly after those Thursday night study sessions at the Foundry. I'm back now as the founder of Australasia's leading sustainable healthcare company, MedSalve. We collect used single-use medical devices from hospitals instead of them going to landfill. We then clean them, test them, inspect them, and return them to those same hospitals for reuse, saving money, saving waste, and reducing carbon emissions in the process. On top of this, we've specifically designed all of our processes to employ people with barriers to employment. Financial sustainability, environmental sustainability, supply chain sustainability, and social sustainability. Everything we do at MedSalve is about delivering sustainability. We now work with 80% of New Zealand's 66 hospitals, and every week we're preventing tons of waste from going to landfill. I'm here to share with you some of the lessons I've learned along my journey to making our healthcare system more sustainable, lessons I hope you can take with you as you leave today to make your mark on the world. I've chosen to focus on the hardest part, the start, because that's where you are now. I started working on MedSalve in September 2017 after a conversation with my uncle, who's a surgeon here in Christchurch, just before that election. Funnily enough, the health sector was a contentious issue, so I started seeing if he had any ideas to help it that I could turn into my master's project because I needed one. He pulled out a box of expired single-use sterile medical devices and told me to go and find a way to sterilise them and sell them back to the hospital. He told me how much they were worth, so I went digging for the idea behind that. I was drawn to the concept behind MedSalve by the ability to reduce waste and reduce costs for our hospitals. I was also dead keen to start a company, so MedSalve was the perfect fit. I walked into the university's Centre for Entrepreneurship the next day, told the manager, Michelle Panzer, my idea, and asked to join the summer startup program. It was starting that November, and applications had well and truly closed. I was told I could join in, but I wouldn't get the $5,000 scholarship. I didn't mind. I'd spent the year learning all about business in the Master of Engineering Management course, and I wanted to give it a crack. One night and a 5,000-word literature review for my course director later, I was on my way. I found my way in front of some nurses at the hospital. I found a product to start with, and I started developing a process for it. I was 23 and had made numerous great investments during my time at university that were very liquid. The only issue with these was most of these investments were made at the Foundry till, and the liquid was beer. I subsequently didn't have much cash. Because of these two factors, my youth and my relative poverty, I chose to start with a non-invasive device, one that was more simple. It didn't go inside the body. I thought that that would be an easier sell to the hospitals. I did a boatload of research, bought a bunch of stuff off Trade Me, and created a method of cleaning, disinfecting, and testing this product. I then had to prove that it worked. Again, with no microbiological knowledge, even less ability, and still no cash, I had to get smart about paying for some lab testing. After finding my way to Southern Community Labs, I shared my goal of reducing waste with the head of the microbiology department, Jackie Lehman. She was happy to help me and accepted payment in the form of cakes to be shared with her team, delivered every few weeks for the 3 months I ended up working with them. There's the first lesson. Share your vision and ask for help, and people will support you. And if that doesn't work, cake. By the end of October, my fledgling process had been through a few iterations, but it worked, and it worked well. Mechanically and microbiologically, it was looking good. The startup program was about to start, and unfortunately for my bank account, I was still a long way from convincing the hospital that it was worth giving it a shot. Unsurprisingly, they had some reservations about the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed 23-year-old promising the world, or more specifically, to save it. Luckily, the week before the program started, I got a call from Michelle to say that they'd found support for one more student, and I was getting a $5,000 scholarship. It was lucky that they paid that halfway through the program because I happened to be at the Christchurch races that day. If I'd just read the website and not turned up or called, it would have been a very tough and a very lonely summer. Lesson 2. Just because the door looks shut doesn't mean you shouldn't try the handle. And if you really want something or someone, call them or turn up in person. Don't just email or text. Early in the startup program in December, we toured Kilmarnock Enterprises, a social enterprise not far from here. Kilmarnock employs people with disabilities in manufacturing processes for a variety of other companies, like PAMS. They had ISO accreditation, and they handle a lot of PAMS food products. So I was instantly keen to taken with the concept, and I endeavoured to see what we could do with MedSelf in the same vein. While it ultimately wasn't possible to put our remanufacturing processes within their facility, in the 5 years since, we have learnt from their approach, and we have designed all of our equipment to enable a more diverse group of people to use it, to become our employees. Because of this approach, we've helped over 30% of our nearly 30 employees into jobs where they've overcome their barrier to employment to contribute to a better, more sustainable New Zealand. Without a doubt, this is the most rewarding part of what we do. Lesson 3. From the outset, find a way to do your version of good while you're doing well. It's far more satisfying than doing well in one area and then donating to a charity in another. We've been successful because we started early. We baked it into our processes from the start. If we tried to start doing this today, to bolt it on, it would be much harder. It would cost more, and it would probably fail. January, 3rd month of the program. It's a slow time in hospitals. People are on holiday, and it makes an already rather slow-moving beast even slower. It's also when the summer startup program is in full swing. With a developed process and no customers to talk to, I worked on my pitch. The end of the program culminates in a 3-minute Dragon's Den-style pitch in front of about 250 people. It's not a long time to get an idea across to people who you've never met and convince them it's a good one. So, I practiced. Our program director was just that, direct. I loved it. Very few people will give a student wanting feedback the unvarnished truth, that their presentation is, and I'm paraphrasing what she said, rubbish. I didn't care. That's what I needed. Time and again, I would steal 3 minutes of her time and listen to her tell me everything that was wrong with it. She wouldn't hold back, but I was learning and I was adapting it every time. By the time the showcase came around, I had 42 slick slides in 3 minutes that anyone in the audience could engage with and understand. And by the end of the showcase, I had 2 of the 5 awards on offer. In the month following the showcase, that same pitch won 2 further awards worth over $100,000 for me to continue developing MedSelf. Finally, I had some funds. 2 lessons here. Lesson 4, practice helps. That's obvious. Feedback helps too. The best people actively seek it, and so should you. As you develop your career, find people who will give you both the support and the honest reality check you may sometimes need. Lesson 5. You are now privileged to call yourselves engineers. You can hold a conversation about scintillating subjects such as stress, strain, thermodynamics, and many other rather important things you've studied. It may come as a surprise to you that not everyone understands what you are saying, no matter how much they may nod their heads. How well you can simplify what you are talking about so that other people can understand it will play a huge part in your ability to bring people on your journey and in your own success. Take time to understand your audience and speak in language they understand. Finally, passion. Many of you have a clear idea of what you want to do. You may already have jobs. Some of you may not be so sure. It may come as a surprise to you that I wasn't born with a raging desire to remanufacture single-use medical devices. I developed a passion for it because at its core, remanufacturing with MedSalv aligns with what I value: better environmental and social sustainability. That passion has been the driving force behind MedSalv, the driving force to work on an undefined project for an entire year, countless phone calls, meetings, and even some emails, to push a contract through the motions before turning $1 of revenue. Lesson 6. Pulling off a difficult task is hard, but pulling off one that doesn't align with your values is damn near impossible. Pursuing something you have a passion for will give you the motivation to go above and beyond and to shoulder or push through those tough times. Chances are you will need to work on something to develop that passion. Look for where you can keep learning and where your values align. Finally, as I leave you to commence the next stage of your journey, remember what you have learnt here at the University of Canterbury can take you anywhere in the world. Your achievements over your time here, your long hours in the library, those pesky 3-day design assignments, and all the other fun experiences you've been lucky to have, you have earned it. You've earned this moment. Wear your gown with pride, take lots of photos, and enjoy the celebrations. Once you've dealt with tomorrow's hangover, remember 6 things. Share your vision and your cake. Push on those doors, more will open than you think. Find a way to do good through whatever you're setting your mind to, rather than finding a way to donate your profits at the end. Treasure people who give you honest feedback. Remember, you're all engineers. Not everyone is lucky enough to be one of them. Remember that particularly when you talk to your friends in the commerce department. And finally, you aren't born with a passion, you develop it. Develop yours. Congratulations, University of Canterbury graduates of 2023. Tēnā koutou, kia ora, tātou katoa.